Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I wasn't even close to the mic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Investing Bros. Bitcoin broke critical support. That support level we're talking about is this red line right here at 26,544. You guys are going to see that not only was this the wick we had back on March 14th that we rejected at before finally breaking through, it was the lowest we have actually seen Bitcoin's price since all the way back here on the 17th of March. We had one wick come down to it on the 27th of March, but of course we began to move to the upside. So breaking that was kind of a big deal. That was some critical support. I know I told you guys that that was kind of my level to say, hey, if we can hold this level, I'm still looking at a potential move upwards towards $50,000 is still in the cards. Now that this has happened, guys, 26.5, don't be surprised if we either hold where we are currently or fall to 25.2, coming down to the daily dynamic reactor. However, I don't need my oscillators right now. However, even if that happens, now my range is shifted down to 36,000 is more realistically a top. Maybe we get a little bit of a break to 42. I will be very surprised at this point if 50K still is in the cards for 2023. Let's take a look at our other levels we've broken here. Yesterday, we broke through the value area low, so that's another sign of some negativity. We're closing some candles below it as well. If I were to go over here to the 4-hour chart, it's not just one or two. We have multiple candles closed below. So this is what we're talking about. When we say Bitcoin has broken critical support, that is exactly what we're saying. Now, some things to keep your eye on this morning. Another bearish thing. Now that we've broken through this red line, this 26,500, even though we're kind of up this morning, we're sitting at 26.4 after touching all the way down to 26,128. I'm not going to be surprised, guys, to see us come back up and just reject off this line. Breaking back up above it would be a bullish thing, but I don't think that the blood necessarily is over. But if there was going to be some blood that was over, let's start off on the weekly chart. And this is what I'm talking about, where the 50 points for Eric Wallen come in because he made a phenomenal call here. We are touching and kissing the 200 the 200 weekly SMA. This could be a massive sign of support. We're also finding support on the daily 100. So keep your eyes fixed on this. I'm still watching on this daily chart. I think it could be interesting to see if the dynamic reactor continues to climb to the upside and we find some support on that 25.2 as well. But there is an outside chance between these two moving averages that we could be finding support. When we pull up our oscillators, let's take a quick look at what's happening there. We're still sitting pretty high. There's room to the downside, but we have crossed into the red even on the clouds here on the weekly chart. Down on the daily chart, we're getting very, very low. And we could be seeing potentially the RSI. If we keep dropping down here, don't be surprised to see the RSI and this ribbon drop below and set up some bullish divergence. When we get a little lower, let's take a look real quickly here. The 4-hour has just been flashing oversold here for a while. So this is going to be really important. Can we continue to hold this, or will this be a bearish trend where we ignore all of our oversold indicators? You hate seeing this if you're a Bitcoin bull. Another thing you hate seeing, let's go take a look at what is happening over on the Dixie, where we have pretty confidently broken through the resistance level of a long time. I've talked about this here for a while, guys. We've been, ever since the high here for the Dixie that we had back in September, we had this strong level of resistance we continued to respect. Well, guess what? We have broken through. So now it's not so much about the falling level of resistance. It's now more about the flat levels of resistance. And there's two spots I'm going to be looking at. First of all, that 0.5 on the Fibonacci from the long time frame. It took a lot to get back below it. So is this just a return to the 0.5 to turn it into resistance? Or even do we come back up to this wick around 101.98? Everything in the news is saying, guys, that the Dixie should be in trouble, that the value of the dollar should be going to the downside, but the charts are climbing. However, notice this, we got a lot of overbought, a lot of oversold. We're not necessarily setting new highs just yet. So until I see new highs being set, these overbought flashes still ring very true. I still believe that we're going to see the Dixie reverse, the Bitcoin and Ethereum go up. However, it is alarming seeing resistance be broken for Dixie, support be broken for Bitcoin. If I scroll back up here, so something definitely you want to keep your eyes on. Really quickly, the last thing I'm going to do before I throw it over to Piper, checking in on our ADA. You guys know we've been talking about it. Very weird to see ADA bounce and Bitcoin and Ethereum fall, but guess what? It did just that, and we knew this. That if you guys have been watching Investing Bros, we've been talking about this falling wedge pattern for Cardano, mixed with, even though I don't have it up here, we had our golden pocket sitting right down here between 36 cents and 35 cents. cents. So the question is, can we break through? There's two things I'm looking at here. I think we can. The 4-hour chart is low, but we are approaching the zero once again, which can be a level of resistance or support. It's the hourly chart where, again, we're going to need to break it, but we're getting some bearish flashes here, some bearish divergence. The red reversal triangle is coming in. Our dynamic reactor on the hourly chart is sitting right above us. So if the Cardano bulls want to mount a rally and potentially get back up towards 42 cents, they got some resistance sitting right above us. We need the momentum to continue and for the price to break through. With that said, Piper, really quickly, what is happening on Ethereum? And then we'll jump into some juicy news.
Yeah, looking at Ethereum here on the 4 hour right now, guys, you can see that we have broken out of our trading bands of our predictive ranges here. And we're on the way down right now to the lower support line, coming in at approximately uh 1,700, about $1,700. Now, what I do want to show you is I think we're going to go a little bit lower than that. And here's why. If I go ahead and throw on the mid fibs, you can see here that we got at 1695 is the 0.65 line here, 0.66, depending on which one you use. But that's what we're looking at for the golden pocket here, guys. We are working our way down to there. And I did say yesterday that I thought that we were going to have downside headed towards that. If we go ahead and throw on, I got a couple of other ones here to show you the daily chart, and I turn on our market oracle, you can see that our dynamic reactor is going to be coming right in line with that golden pocket. And that's why I believe that we're going to be heading down to that level there, finding support there against the confluence of the golden pocket and that dynamic reactor. That's very powerful confluence. The oscillator, which I pointed out yesterday to you guys, is still continuing to tighten. I told you that we very likely would see this continue down, which would bring this down into our bullish zone. That's what this dash green line is down here. And when that happens, if this cloud is still tight and we hit this, that's where I think we're going to see the turnaround coming in the next 7 days, guys. That's what I'm looking at there. And 1,700 is where I'm looking at getting the entry into an ETH long. Still holding and waiting for that. We don't have anything until you get down here on the fixed range volume profile. That is the point of control, and it is $1,200, guys. If you look at where a majority of all volume took place, you can see that a lot of people bought in that $1,200 range there, which is odd because it's not a whole lot of price action here. It's this section here and this section, actually two sections here, and that's it. And but all of the volume money came in at this point, so that's what we're looking at for a value area high, or for point of control on the fixed range volume profile. Lastly, I will point out that unlike Bitcoin testing its 200-week moving average, this light blue line on mine right here is the 200-week moving average that we have for Ethereum right now, and it's coming in at about $1,500. So if you don't see that confluence support come in on the dynamic reactor and that golden pocket hold, I would be looking for that 50 probably coming in line with that 200-week moving average for the next level of confluence that is going to be right there at about 1550. So guys, if 1700 doesn't hold, 1550 is the next range that I'm looking for there on Ethereum. Cross your fingers, hold on tight. I think we've got a big ride coming up.
Big breath as the beacon chain stops finalizing and then recovers. So let's get into a little bit of the details. You may have seen headlines scrolling through Twitter. You may still not really fully understand. This is what happened. The Ethereum mainnet briefly stopped finalizing transactions, but recovered after 25 minutes. So it was not business as usual, but it was not quite a Solana full on failure, right? So let's go ahead and read a
Mm.
little bit more into this. Around 8:15 UTC on May 11th, a number of Ethereum core developers announced that the Beacon chain was having issues confirming transactions. New blocks were able to be processed, but an unknown issue was preventing them from being finalized. A member of the Ethereum dev team here, superfizz.eth, said the beacon chain stopped finalizing about 30 minutes ago. I don't know why yet, but in general, the chain is designed to be resilient against this. Transactions will continue as usual, and finalization will kick in when the problem is resolved. Following the incident, pseudonymous Ethereum consultant Superfizz noted that client diversity was one of the main reasons that the loss of finality was so short lived. However, he also pointed out that the loss of finality could have been avoided altogether if no client had been more than 33% control. So, Piper, I want to throw it over to you as a heavy investor into Ethereum. What are your thoughts?
When Solana has a network issue or any of these other layer ones, their price crashes. It's a hard crash.
Mhm.
Ethereum only dropped like 0.2% more than Bitcoin did yesterday. That is resiliency. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not afraid for my portfolio at all.
Mm.
I still think that Ethereum is the king of layer ones, and um, this all this did was show that they can have issues, which you're going to have. Networks always have issues. I don't care who you are. Google's had issues, but it was fixed in a very short time period. It wasn't days, it was 25 minutes, and the price held up very strong. So
Ethereum is established, and it's going to take a lot more than a glitch like that to take it down. I agree with Piper. The fact that the price didn't just like absolutely plummet shows that the people holding said, "Hey, this isn't a big deal to us."
JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon says it's going to get worse for banks. But there's also a headline that says Jamie Dimon won't be buying any more failed banks. He says it's too much work. Should we heed his warning, or is this some posturing for Jamie Dimon to get the upper hand?
I don't think he's seeing stuff that other people don't see. I think I see it too. Banks are overextended. I think a lot more banks are going to have downside this year. As far as his statement about he doesn't want to buy anymore, I think it's a very valid statement. But this could be his way of leveraging the government to give him more money to bail people out when the other banks start failing. Like, no, look, I told you guys I wasn't doing this anymore. It's very expensive. If you want me to do it, I need more than $50 billion.
A big development over at MetaMask. MetaMask is the first Web3 wallet to enable users to buy ETH using PayPal. Twitter to get a new female CEO as Elon Musk moves over. Musk added that his role would transition to being executive chair and chief tech officer, overseeing product and software. Linda Yaccarino is in the front running. I've got that highlighted because she has definitely not been named quite yet. Linda Yaccarino is the chairman of global advertising and partnerships at NBCU, where she has been for more than a decade. There she is. And here is another big headline kind of confirming it. NBC Universal ad chief Linda Yaccarino resigns. So that's pretty big, as sources say she's in talks to be Twitter's CEO.
Wow, you made it to the end of the video. Great job. Now, if you want more content like this, whether it be TA on Bitcoin and Ethereum or altcoins, or you just want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest news in crypto, then stay tuned and tune in to our 9 a.m. live show every single weekday morning. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when you tune in live, use the keyword grip strength in the chat, and you'll get a special shout out from anyone who's paying attention to the chat. Love to see you there.